It's the Hammers 0, City 2.
Well, no one could catch Erling Haaland. The question is, this season, is anybody going to be able to catch Manchester City, who have set off at a pace in the heat in East London this afternoon, thanks mainly to his quality, his dynamism, his athleticism at the top of the pitch. And Micah Richards, how exciting a prospect is that on this evidence for Manchester City this season?
It's emphatic. I always believed he would score goals. I think with the creativity behind him, you know, De Bruyne and Gundogan getting the assist today, he's just brilliant. And yes, his hold-up play will improve, but that movement in the final third was just exceptional today. And he will score 20, 25 plus goals this season on the evidence today.
Well, he was the youngest player to score 20 Champions League goals, the fastest player to 50 in the Bundesliga. He did it in 50 appearances, and I'm sure he has his sights set on records in the Premier League as well. What a start for him, and just 22 years old. Frightening potential for him and for the champions. And that is the first Premier League weekend, the 30th Premier League season, 31st Premier League season over and done with. And it all started with Arsenal beating Crystal Palace by 2-0 on Friday night. Liverpool held at Craven Cottage. Victories for Leeds United, for Newcastle and for Spurs coming from behind against Southampton. Chelsea winning on the Saturday night football at Goodison Park. And then today we've seen Leicester draw 2-2 with Brentford, who came from 2 down there today. Manchester United beaten in Erik ten Hag's first game in charge by Brighton, winning for the first time at Old Trafford. And City sealing victory in the second half here with a 2-0 victory over West Ham United. You can see all the goals by scanning that QR code. It'll take you straight to the Sky Sports app to catch up on all the action if you've missed any. And this is how it looks next weekend as Manchester United start us off at Brentford on the Saturday night football. The Hammers back in action at Nottingham Forest on Super Sunday. A London derby between 2 opening weekend winners, Chelsea and Spurs at Stamford Bridge, and our opening Monday night football of the weekend. At Anfield, Liverpool taking on Crystal Palace. And you can follow the journey of South London's football hopefuls in the new Sky original one-shot, The Football Factory. All episodes available right now on Sky Documentaries. Lots more to come from us here at the London Stadium tonight in the company of Roy Keane, Karen Carney and Micah Richards. Gary Neville will join us as well to look back on this opening weekend. The champions up and running. They have a new weapon at the top of the pitch who is no secret, but he is dangerous. Deadly in front of goal and off the mark with a double.
Here's Gundogan, maybe serious difficulties here. Oh, and he brought down Areola. Left-footed, Erling Haaland, and there it goes. And I would suggest that's the first of many. There is noticeably more room for the likes of De Bruyne on the ball, and he's put Haaland in. There he goes, number 2. That's the counter-punch that he brings.
Well, remember where you were. We have seen the first 2 goals of Erling Haaland's Premier League career. Roy Keane, what are your impressions of what you've seen here this afternoon?
Very comfortable for City. Haaland, what we knew, people, whether they doubted he could settle into the Premier League so quickly. Great quality, great run, great movement we've seen even the last week in the Community Shield. He's going to get chances. We've seen it today. People are talking about 20-odd goals. The fact he's taking penalties, it could be 30-odd, 40 goals, whatever, because he's going to get chances. He is going to get chances. If he stays fit and healthy, he will get chances with the quality around him. So, you know, good luck to the defenders up against him.
It's a worrying thought, isn't it, Karen, for the rest of the Premier League?
Yeah, it is, because you saw today West Ham tried to bank up, deny and stay in the game. Obviously went 1-0 down. I thought, we're at home, we'll have a bit of a go. And in that time they had a go, you left spaces, and boy, did they get punished. You know, he went in there, and I think for me it was amazing to see him. I saw him last week, but this week even the evolution in that, like his strength, his power's gone up another level, and every time he went through, there was never a doubt that it wasn't going to be a goal, never a doubt he wasn't going to miss the penalty, never a doubt he wasn't going to take that chance. So, yeah, it's been scary to watch him again live.
What's so interesting about him, everyone talks about he'd only score goals by running in behind, but if you look at the first for the penalty, he only needed 5 yards. He's gone, his arms were everywhere, absolutely brilliant. He's just watching him live here. He's just going to cause mayhem this season, he really is.
Is the other thing as well, that as he was saying, Karen, how quickly he seems to have settled into this team, because that was the conversation after the Community Shield. It's going to take time. He might not settle in the City. They're going to have to work out how they play with him.
Yeah, I think this week they were far less direct. We saw how controlled they were. They were never risking the ball at any time, keeping it. And it felt like he said to him, just wait, we will find you, just be patient. And those little spaces, whether it be 5 yards, 10 yards, 20, it will appear. You just have to wait. And fair play, as he did, he waited, he punished them then.
And it was really the first time that they tried to play him in that it came off with the award of the penalty.
Yeah, again, it was just the speed of play. The game was pretty slow at this stage, but just quick in the play. This is what we're talking about. You could say question defense, but even at the end there, he's got good feet. He's got quick feet for a big man, and this is movement. He kind of, he's waiting, ready to pounce. He half goes, slows, makes sure he stays on side.
And is that an art in itself, Roy? The timing of the run, as well as the pace and the power to get in.
I think so. For the movement, for such a player, he's still 22. His movement we see in the second half as well. It's like you get that usually as you get a bit older, more mature. So to see it at such a young age, it's football intelligence. And Karen mentioned, we never felt he was going to miss the penalty or miss the second goal he got.
It was the confidence, wasn't it, the way he stepped up for the penalty as much as anything?
I think, yeah, absolutely. Like we said, we didn't expect him to, but, that's where the added goals have come. But I think you mentioned it again earlier, Roy, he's a step ahead of everyone. So when he went in for the build-up of that goal, he went into a space, and everyone's thinking, we're okay here. And just that ability to go, it's coming, and he raced before. And even though it was 2 yards behind, I think Johnson, he could get there first. He's constantly thinking, and the best players, like, walk, wait, and then all of a sudden they can just go.
Second half. Just behind us here, Micah. He gets played through. At any point did you think he's not going to score here?
No, that's bread and butter for him. Just the way he arced his run as well. It's all about the timing. Obviously, it's a great pass. De Bruyne, brilliant. But just that burst. And look at the way he just adjusted his feet so he could put it into that far corner or far past the keeper.
Do you think it's significant as well that he didn't bother taking the touch? I mean, that's a lot to do with the quality of the pass, I'm sure. But sometimes you might see a striker try and set himself, have a few touches.
Yeah, but that's the difference. It's that composure. Once you get in front of the goal, and that's why he's one of the best. That's why, everyone was after him, because in front of goal, his record is just ridiculous. There was no doubt in my mind that he would score goals.
The pace of the pass was perfect as well for him. He is going to get that quality, so he didn't have to take a touch. That was the beauty of the pass. And as you said, he opened his body out. We were watching there, we thought, he's never missing this.
Is that the danger then? If City get in front, as they do so often, teams might come and try and have a go, but if they do, he's just going to be waiting for that ball.
Yeah, of course. Again, it's a different option for City. We still saw the brilliance of Man City today in terms of their control, the passing, pace, the way they just wore West Ham down, who are no mugs here. They've just toyed with them today, but they have that option then, whether it be 5 yards, like's been mentioned, or big areas in behind. He will threaten you. And when you're a defender and you're playing against Man City, okay, they tie you out, play in front of you. But when people are running in behind you, it's a different challenge for defenders, and West Ham couldn't cope with it today.
The one thing he didn't do a lot of, Karen, in Bundesliga was score with his head. 5 in all. Is that an area potentially for improvement?
Yeah, look, as we said, he's 22 and the world's his oyster, really. And if you can add more goals by heading, I mean, saw another player who only came on, Ronaldo, how many goals he's scored with his head throughout his career. If he can add this element to his game, literally, the numbers will be out of this world. But, that was hard. Jack did absolute physic at him. But
look at the movement now. The first one, he was sort of like, okay, I didn't get the first one, okay, what should I do? And then he's gone again. Look at a lot of strikers in this, the first one didn't really get it. But he waits, and then he's gone. And nobody can catch him. And that's why his movement in that middle area is just
different
ridiculous.
to Ronaldo, but that little movement, them darting runs, he is like Ronaldo. Again, doesn't want to get too involved, but when it comes in the box, he is alive. And I think he'll be disappointed with that chance.
How many times have we talked to City about they've got no one in the width of the goal? Now him, the runs that he makes, it's just brilliant. He's going to score so many goals, really.
We've all watched him, we've all seen clips of him play, or if not games in Bundesliga and elsewhere, Karen. You can see that sort of marauding pace when he does have a whole half to run into, as we saw with the second goal. But did it surprise you today how quick his feet are able to go over a short distance as well?
Well, I think we checked it earlier when his mum's an athlete as well, and we know what his dad's done in his history. He's going to be an absolute specimen. So
what's his dad done?
Used to play.
He was waiting for Roy over there before.
Used to play. Roy kind of looked at me.
I've never seen Roy so nervous, to be honest.
He's giving Roy a lift home, I think, later.
No, but he can shift, and I think going back to the goal as well, his ability to go at speed and then slow down and be cool and compose himself, that's a skill in itself. But I think we'll move on, right, Roy?
Hopefully, yeah, please.
Andy Cole, the fastest to 50 Premier League goals. It took him 65 appearances. What do you think?
Fit, well, I don't think Coley took penalties back then, so no, you'd be again. I think this lad, of course, if he stays fit and healthy, and he's in a brilliant Man City team, these records, he's capable of smashing all of them, of course.
The bigger picture, does it change things for Manchester City?
It just makes them. It just gives them different options in terms of the forward positions. What we saw today was Man City. It was no surprises. They were brilliant. They controlled the game. West Ham, it made West Ham look leggy. I know it was difficult for West Ham, but they just couldn't get near them. So, and we still look at the options on the bench, players who aren't involved. Man City look as strong as ever.
Stronger?
Yeah, just different dynamics in their attack. But like I said, the difference from last week to this week, I know obviously the opposition is different, but the control and the element and the different options they have, yes, so much stronger.
I think that's what Karen said. It's the option, isn't it? Sometimes last season when Manchester was playing that false nine and you just start crying out for a forward in there. Now they have that. And I like the fact that they brought him off as well before the end. Wrap him in copper, making sure he's ready for next week.
There's nothing false about him, is there? He is a number 9 all day long. And hopefully we'll hear from the man of the moment very shortly here on Super Sunday, as well as from the managers. It was a really tough start to the season, wasn't it, for David Moyes and West Ham United up against the champions, who at times were in full flight. What a Premier League debut for Erling Haaland. Won the penalty in the first and took it, and then completed the job with the second, to his dad's delight and to the City fans' delight as well. His reaction now with Jeff Shreves.
Congratulations, Erling. It was a simply sensational start from you. How much did you enjoy that? And also, what does it mean to you to hit the ground running like that on your Premier League debut for City?
Yeah, it was a good start, and yeah, it's nothing much to say than a good start, 2-0, and yeah, good start.
But what does it mean to you, as you say? It's only the start, but to start so well.
Yeah, good to get some minutes still in the legs. It's still early in the season, and yeah, we have to keep going.
You said to us in the week, look, it's game by game.
So yeah, we have to keep going.
And mentally, as you said, it's only the first game, but to straight away to announce yourself like to the Premier League, that must give you a big boost.
Yeah, of course, but also now it's almost 30 minutes since I scored the last goal, so I have to keep going.
Erling, you smashing Premier League debut for Manchester City. You were the man of the match. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
He's quite the character, isn't he? Can you imagine swearing on live television, Micah?
No. I mean, how old is he? 20? I was 17 when I did it.
In terms of the expectation around him, Roy, he's come to this country not for the biggest price tag, albeit 50+ million, but with huge expectation around him. So how much is that going to help?
I think that helped that the deal was done a good few months ago. He's had a chance to settle in. He's obviously got no problem with the language, even a couple of swear words there. He spoke about his disappointment, the 1 or 2 chances he's missed. He's obviously a mature lad, he's hungry, ticks all the boxes, and that's why Man City went after him. And that's basically all the top clubs in Europe were after him. So in terms of a deal, it was a no-brainer. You got to get it over the line. 50-odd million, it seems like peanuts now for one of the world's potentially brilliant best players. We always say the hardest part of football is scoring goals, and he does it for fun, and it all looks very easy to him. But clearly he's a hard worker. And what came across in the interview there, he's hungry for more.
Yeah, and he referenced that sort of hard work and the training a few times there, Karen. You get the sense that on the City training ground there has been a lot of work trying to embed him into their system, trying to create those situations like we saw with the penalty award.
Well, when Pep's your manager, we know there's going to be a lot of training, a lot of sessions, a lot of information. And you're right, you have to give him the service, you have to give him those connections, otherwise he'll become redundant. But I thought they did. It was much better than last week. I thought he was patient even in himself. You know, I said it before, the best players just walk and they look disinterested, and then all of a sudden they go. And when he's got that speed, but they just keep needing to find him, and the more and more they play together, it is frightening the connections that they'll get.
Haaland too hot for the Hammers this afternoon. Let's bring you some West Ham reaction. David Moyes with Jeff.
David, your thoughts on a tough afternoon for your side?
They were so good, you know. I felt that tactically they completely outdone us today. We'd done a pretty good job on them, but today they played differently. They brought both their full-backs in to play in the middle of the pitch. Made it harder for us to deal with it. They got wide a lot easier. And we'd worked hard in trying to replicate what we'd done last season, at the end of last season, to try and make sure that it gave us a chance. But they were so good today.
It was brief, but you had a bright opening before they really took control.
Yeah, we had a minute, I think, and I told the players that. But after that, you know, it was just a case of, you know, trying to stay in the game. We did for long periods. Look, we only went in at half-time 1 down to a penalty kick, which gave us an opportunity and a chance. And we started the second half, little bits of it were a bit better. We just started to grow into the game. But look, their quality told in the end. And, you know, obviously we're just missing 1 or 2 at the back as well, which might have helped us.
Is that the dilemma? There's only one in it, but if you gamble a little bit, they can open up anybody.
Well, they can, but I felt as if, you know, we hadn't played well enough, whether we'd stayed in the game or not. I didn't think we'd played well enough, so I wanted to try and see if I could change the run of the game and try and get a bit more of the ball, try and see if we could get some chances. Hey, we got a little bit more of the ball for about 5 minutes, but in the end they were far better than us, and we couldn't cope with them today.
Unfortunately, you were on the receiving end of it, but Erling Haaland announced himself in the Premier League today as an opposing manager. What did you make of him?
Well, I don't really want to talk about other teams' players, but look, we've all watched them from a distance. We see someone who looks as if he's going to be an outstanding standing player, but we saw him make the same run against Liverpool in the Charity Shield, and we talked about it. You know, he's running through, and the quality De Bruyne has got, that he could make the pass and make them through. I still think that we should have probably cut the pass out, to be honest.
Let's talk about one of your players, new player, Maxwell Cornet, announced on the pitch at half-time. What's he going to bring you?
Well, he's brought some goals and some assists to the Premier League. I hope we can do that to West Ham as well. He's had quite a few goals through his career, so we need to add more attacking options. At the moment we're a bit short, so hopefully he can give us that.
Hopefully we're getting a few more bodies in.
Yeah, we did it. We need it. We know we need to freshen up a little bit. We're a bit stale, I feel, at the moment. But look, our centre half gets injured in pre-season friendly. I don't know what you can do anything about that. So we have attempted to do it, and our centre forward's getting himself fit. So, and the goalkeeper we signed plays today after Lucas gets injured. So you can see we still need a bit of work to do. Yeah.
Thanks, David.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks.
Top one for David Moyes and West Ham United, facing Manchester City first up. How would you assess them, Karen?
I thought his interview was spot on, really. You know, he's up against it with the defenders and the injuries. And then City would just, tactically, you always look about what Pep's going to do. Changes it every season and what the adaptations. And he was right, the full-backs went in, it was like a box. And what do you do? How do you stop this Man City side? So he was really up against it, and they had a go, and then they got done again. So he'll just say, look, we'll take this one, and we just got to go again and get energy back in that side. I think last season I saw energy wasn't quite there today.
A little bit concerning, I guess, when you're hearing your manager say they're a bit stale first weekend.
Yeah, so early in the season. But if you look at some of the press conferences over the last week or so, I think he is frustrated. He keeps saying we need a stronger squad. Their starting 11, and generally this group of players have done really well over the last year or two, but Dave will know better than anybody. You need to bring fresh faces in, keep the hunger in the group, and he does look frustrated, but you have to take your medicine today. It was always going to be a tough game against Man City, of course, this group of players have done great the last couple of years, but they need a helping hand.
They played 56 games last year, Micah. They might well again with the Europa Conference League. They've got starting very soon as well. Do they look a bit light in numbers?
Yeah, they do. But I thought at times they defended really well today. You know, first half it was got on 80% possession to Man City. And you know, we've all played the game. First game of the season. Like, you're still getting up to... And what Man City do, they just starve you of the ball. So West Ham might have not looked like they was trying today, but that's because Man City was so good. But they do a few numbers in there. Especially, I felt sorry for Antonio. The ball was coming up to him. Scamacca coming into that for your debut.
Got a great reception, didn't he?
It was brilliant reception, but it was tough for him to come. But Cornet, very good player. We know the numbers that he's got as well at Burnley. So, you know, upwards.
Well, the good news is they only have to play City once more this season. They've got them out the way on this opening weekend. Now, if you're watching on Sky Sports main event, you'll be watching the AIG Women's Open closing stages, the fourth day, on next here on Sky Sports main event. But we will continue our coverage of this opening weekend. We'll hear from Pep Guardiola, and we'll reflect on what we've seen elsewhere on Sky Sports Premier League. That's coming next.
So we didn't have any doubt when a guy scored a goal, and since he was born, why should not score here or in another team, because always it's going to happen with him. But not just we make the process, the game, to create chances, and a team like this defend so deep, well, good transitions, and especially Kyle Walker was amazing today. I want to make an incredible big compliment for the game he played today, but all of them, the back four, Rodri, Gundo, Jack was brilliant in the second goal, the quality field, everyone was really, really good.
So when you've already got that quality, what does Erling Haaland give you? Does he give you a different dimension?
What he gives us is his qualities. So the way we are going to play not going to change much. We're going to adapt. We know now we have a threat there. So he's incredible deep runner, and especially as a good finisher. And I would say that he is adapting perfectly in the way we want to play. And as much the games we're going through, we're going to find him more, and hopefully we can give him the opportunity to score a goal.
As well as the goals, what did you like about his performance today?
Erling? No, in general was good. Of course, but I said before after the Liverpool game, so Liverpool plays the first 90 minutes after 5 months, I think so, he didn't play, so was injured most of the time, and he's a big guy. It's not like Julian, he came from Argentina already in the competition. He's a guy who needs the rhythm, but the important is, play the way he's playing, knowing the guys, know each other, know what we want to do, and after. So I cannot teach him to score goals. I cannot say anything about that. And he has to be comfortable, knowing the locker room and the club. He's going to adapt really quick.
After the way he took his second goal today, there's already comparisons with Ronaldo, with Thierry Henry, the way he opened up his body. Do you think that he has the potential to end up in that sort of company because he has such talent?
Yeah, of course he has talent, but listen, 1 week ago when he missed the chance that we had, it was a failure, and the people say he's not going to adapt and in the Premier League, and everybody laughs of him. So, and now he's going to Thierry or Cristiano Ronaldo. Take time. So it's the first Premier League game. He's 21 or 22 years old. He has a long career. And when he's going to retire, we're going to hopefully stay many years here in Man City, but we're going to analyze what he has done. So be calm. So the important is the inside of us, we know what you have to do, we know the quality that he has, and alongside for the other guys, and after that we'll see.
He converted his penalties. Does that mean he'll now be the penalty taker, or is it still for the players to discuss?
Well, he took the, when it was penalty, and he went immediately to took the ball and has, and that I like it, for the fact I'm going to be a taker, I'm going to score a goal. So he did it in Dortmund, I think so, and the penalties is the guy who has the confidence to do it, he's going to do it.
He has the confidence, but Pep just maybe urging us to dial down a little on the hyperbole. We've been eulogising about him, Gary, while you've been on commentary duty this afternoon. What struck you most watching him in the flesh here this afternoon, Erling Haaland?
I think the pattern of goals he scored. I think that we saw that City in the first half scored a goal through him where they had to get the ball closer to him. All these teams that play against City sit deep, very compact, so difficult to get it through in one and counter-attack, which Haaland obviously loves. So the first half goal he scored will be a pattern of, I think, the type of first half goal City will have to deliver for him. Little thread passes, close down the sides, through the pocket. Then when the team starts to get a little bit desperate in the second half, the space opens up and then he has that space to run into, which just looks absolutely devastating. I thought it was just the perfect way in which Haaland will be used. And we've been asked these questions all week. Will he hit the ground running? Will he do it at City? Will he adjust to the style? Well, we've just seen it today.
What would it have been like to play against him, do you think, as a defender?
I have to say he's... the very few players that you see like that have absolutely everything. The physicality, the strength, the power, the finishing, the understanding of the game, the timing of the runs. They're unique. Like I say, you can play against a Zidane and a Brazilian Ronaldo, in our time when we were playing, and you can think, there's nothing you can do here. There will be defenders in the league that will not make mistakes and will just be helpless. West Ham centre-backs haven't done a lot wrong there today and they're just helpless. There's nothing you can do. It's too good, too strong, too quick. It's almost like an unfair competition.
Let's hear more then about the man of the moment, because Jeff Shreeves is joined right now by a Norwegian former Premier League striker. Jeff.
Yes, David, the whole of Norway is bursting with pride at Erling Haaland's Premier League debut today. Alongside me is Jan Åge Fjørtoft. Jan, what does it mean to the country?
Well, it means a lot. We are 5 million people, which is a part of the region of London. So we're very proud of him, and especially, as you know, the Norwegians are very, very fan of English football. I guess there are some Manchester United fans, big Liverpool fans in Norway that won't like it, but I think in anything they're very proud of him, of course.
That was extraordinary today, but having followed him so closely, was it no surprise to you?
It was no surprise that the second goal was a typical goal. We saw this in the Community Shield. It took some time to understand those runs, and we were thinking, how long will it take for him to adjust to the team? Because Pep's playing it a bit differently, and they didn't have that kind of player. But I think that second goal today, that is a key moment in his City career, and we say that in his game number 2, because this is exactly how he runs, because this guy never goes in offside. So his time run is so good, and who is better than De Bruyne, Silva, Foden, Grealish, Silva, everybody who can do those passes.
Given what they can supply him with, is there almost a limit on how many he could score in a season?
Well, I think that depends how they will play. They have a great team. They don't have to play him all games. But you see with these goalkeepers, goal getters. You see a Nunez, you see a Salah, you see a Erling Haaland. As long as they're provided with a service, they will always find spaces to get into. So yeah, he will score a lot of goals in English football.
And also, what would you say about the value? Just over 50 million.
Yeah, but that is you English haven't heard so much about clauses. So Dortmund took him for around 20 million euro from Salzburg. And then they sold him for triple the price in euro. So that is the business. But by saying that, the quality you get in this market, he is a steal.
Great stuff. Thanks, Jan.
Cheers.
Back to you in the studio, Dave.
Jeff, thank you very much. Good to hear from Jan Åge Fjørtoft talking about his countryman Erling Haaland, who scored 2 of the 28 goals on this opening weekend. This is how it's broken down, with Arsenal starting things off on Friday night with a 2-0 win at Selhurst Park. Fulham holding Liverpool, who twice had to come from behind to get themselves a point at Craven Cottage. New Boys Bournemouth beating Aston Villa by 2-0. Great start for them. And for Leeds United, who came from a goal down to beat Wolves 2-1. Newcastle a winning start against another promoted side, Nottingham Forest. Spurs from a goal down, beating Southampton 4-1, and Chelsea edging the Saturday night football at Goodison Park today. Leicester were 2 up against Brentford, who came back. Josh De Silva with a spectacular equaliser in the 86th minute after Ivan Toney had got one back for them. Brighton spoiling Erik ten Hag's big day at Old Trafford. Pascal Gross at the double there, and Erling Haaland, of course, scoring twice here. All the goals you can see by scanning that QR code. It will take you straight to the Sky Sports app. Yes, so thank you very much to Roy, to Karen, to Micah, and to Gary. Hope we cheered him up a little bit, but I'm afraid at the start of the season it's more misery for Manchester United as City looks scintillating from the start thanks to their new headline maker, Haaland. Bye from us.
Haaland in, there he goes. delivered